Hi, good morning. And my friend Corey and I are here together. And you might notice maybe a third party. That's because we are going to have a little party a little later in the 10 minutes. So I'm going to take about 5 with a topic for the day. The last couple days, we've been focusing on take care until there's a cure, and talking not about dementia, because until there's a cure, there's care is our PAC theme, because we believe that until there is a cure for dementia, there will always be need for supporting care, and we just need to learn how to do it better. Well, in our also theme of PAC now more than ever, what I see COVID as is until there's a cure, there's care. And we need to take care when there's still COVID about, because we don't have a cure. And if you put your hand up, here's what it's looking like. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers. You have to wiggle all 10. It turns out that 1 out of 10 of us on average will actually die from this thing if you are exposed to it. And the tricky part, wiggle all your fingers, we don't know which of us it is. In other situations, we could sort of guesstimate who might be at the greatest risk for being the one to go. But now we don't actually have that luxury of being able to pinpoint who it is. We know there are risk groups, but we know that people who didn't look at risk turn out to be at risk for not just getting sick, but not surviving this condition. We also know that for people who've been put on ventilators, which is sort of last ditch effort to get you through this, the survival rate is not great. So out of all 10 of us who might get this COVID thing, there's up to 4 of us that would have significant to absolutely life-threatening symptoms that may change us, not just for the short term, but for long term and maybe forever. We're just figuring out what it does to the lungs, and is that going to be something that's fairly permanent or temporary? And we don't know if it can come back again. So we've got this other 5 people who are going, yeah, but I don't even have any symptoms. And that's probably 2 or 3. And the other 2 are like, yeah, I had some symptoms. It wasn't that bad. And so, as you can see, got 2 different hands here. And if we're going to put these hands together, we better figure out what we're going to do with them. And so that's where, until there's a cure, we need to give care with care. If we want to be together, if we want to come together, because we don't know who's who and who might be at risk and who we're harming. And so the first rule in moving from everybody stay at home except for the essential workers and the healthcare providers is, stay at 6 feet and, wash your hands, etc. But the problem really is we still need to be with each other. I mean, that's just the way our system is designed. We weren't designed to be isolated. People who've been living with dementia and are still independent livers have found out long ago how to sort of cave up and live alone, but they've also figured out how to build networks and build connections. So as we're starting this struggle of, well, I had it and I'm fine. Not being ugly. I'm glad you had it and you were fine. But the reality is there's a whole bunch of people who won't have it and be fine. And so the first rule in moving from just stay at home to joining the essential workers is to realize the first rule is always do no harm. Do no harm. And in order to do no harm, we've got to build some skills. We're going to have to practice until we've got motor memories that keep us safe and keep others safe. And so this time that we have, we should be spending some of it truly becoming more skillful, more knowledgeable, and more aware of how to keep COVID in its place. How to take care of us, how to take care of the other. So one of the guidelines that I'd like to really look at are there's actually 2 of them. Use the right PPE for the situation, as opposed to use PPE, use personal protective equipment. Well, why are you using it? In what situation? When should I have a mask on? So put your hand up to your face and cover your face. Well, if I'm working and trying to help someone who needs to actually be able to see my face to appreciate what I'm saying, then putting my mask on makes it really hard for us to communicate verbally. So I've got to learn some new skills of, all right, I've got to learn how to show people things when I can't share. Now, the plus of the work we've been working with people who have brain changes that make it hard for them to appreciate and comprehend language. Not because people were wearing masks, but because the brains were starting to really fade in the left temporal lobe. Additionally, what we want to think about is, okay, so how do people's hands work? Where and when can people do things for themselves? And where and when do we need to like step in? So if I'm stepping in and doing something with my hands with someone else, when do I want to put gloves on? And what do gloves actually do? One of the things we know is if you have anything, wounds, open areas on your hands, and I'm going to be around you, those open areas provide opportunities for any bacteria or germs or any dirt or anything like that, any substance to get into my system. Because open skin is an area where, ooh, that's an opening that wasn't meant to be there. So that's when you would want to put gloves on. Or if you have something on your hands that you don't want to share with someone, then you would put gloves on. But really and truly, gloves are used when we're touching things that we don't want our hands to touch, or we don't want other people to touch our hands. But it doesn't make your hands clean. I mean, it just covers up your hands. So one of the things to really seriously go back to is gloves are a temporary solution. And they have to be put on or taken off in a very careful way. And there's a difference between sterile, you really want to not touch anything, and you just don't want to have what's on you on the outside of the glove. And you don't want what's on the outside of the glove to be on you. So that means once you do this, you don't want to touch it's tricky. So there is a bit of learning and thinking. So using PPE, the right PPE for the situation. And yesterday, I said, these are your first level of PPE. And then we can talk about covering and protecting, cover your air. So respecting airspace and protecting airspace, protecting people's airspace, yours and mine, good idea. If you can't do that, then I've got to figure out how to protect mine. So that means you may get things on me, but I won't get my stuff on you. And I know how to remove it and clean it. Oh, I tried something because I was curious. We know that one of the ways to kill COVID is really pretty simple. You can put something in the oven at 150 degrees for 5 to 6 minutes, and it can't stand the heat. So I tried some stuff because I was curious. So I put in the oven pieces of paper, masks, an envelope that I got with plastic in it. Guess what? Nothing melted. Guess what? It all came out warm, but I could pick it up. And what I would tell you is, this is sort of like autoclaving, but not the same. But for fighting COVID, turns out this is the level that we need. This isn't magic. It's knowledge, skill, and science. So there you go. That's the part that, I wanted to get out of the way. There's more. I'm still working on that other stuff. So learning to use space well, learning to use social connections well. Ooh, come tomorrow. I am going to talk about, we got to stop this separation business and start talking about how we're going to come back together and who has to gain what knowledge, what skill, and what the rules of the road are. But this idea of we're just going to keep everybody separated, it's not working very well. So let's start preparing for coming back together and doing more than just putting up blue walls everywhere. See a lot of construction out there. It's interesting. I don't know what restaurants are going to look like, but apparently we're not going to be looking at each other very much while we're there, which is sort of one of the things people want to do when they go. So it's interesting. We'll see how that works out. So you may have seen over to the side, we have a little setup. So one of the things I asked for yesterday is anybody has any ideas of how to get Scrabble tiles. So I got some feedback, got some things back. So what I did is, it's sort of lightweight cardstock. And I have a sheet of letters that Corey, my friend, will be happy to send out. It's a whole page of letters. And I put a light line, and then because I wanted to offer up another thing, I also put a thicker line around. And here's one of the things. So if you did print these things off, because it basically you have to have a printer that can handle cardstock. It works easier that way, though you could just use regular paper. I have all these different colors that I printed out. Same alphabet all on one page. And you could certainly make it larger if you have somebody who might have some visual things. But what I might ask somebody to do, and I'd ask you if you do this printout, then what if you would go ahead and cut these into long strips along the line. So you actually people living with dementia can do this. People who are bored, kids who are like teenagers, could you help me? I would really appreciate it. I'm doing a project and I need all these guys like cut out. Now you're going to notice that some people are more meticulous or detail oriented than others. I am not the most detailed person, which is why I was never good at quilting, that patchwork thing, because I'm not precise enough. But what's nice about once you cut the strips is truly these little snips are a lot easier to make. Snip, snip, snip. I don't have to be able to guide down a whole line. And on another day, I'll actually show you how to use your hand with another person's hand to get them going, and then how to use your fingers to help align the scissors. And if you start using Fiskars instead, the kindergarten scissors with the bigger handles for bigger kids, it actually makes it possible for people who, quote unquote, can't do that to do that. So what I have over here are some of them already cut out. And the way I've done this is I'm on a Zoom account. And Corey's actually helping me out by running it because she can do that while I'm doing a bunch of other things. And what she's going to do is highlight the Scrabble board or the letter board or the sorting board. So I have my computer on, and then I have my iPhone hooked up with my same account. And it's going to allow us to look at the board and then look at each other. So Corey and I are going to try something. So Corey, if you'd highlight the board.
It's highlighted.
Okay, so Corey's got it highlighted. So what we're going to do at this point is that board is going to be available to both of us. And I'd say, hey, Corey, you're going to tell me some trees that you can think of. What are some trees that you're familiar with?
Hey, Teepa, I'm going to pause you for just a moment.
Yeah.
Because our board is not showing up on Facebook.
Oh, no.
All right, so what they've got now is a gallery view. So it's small, but people should be able to see it.
Okay. So, Corey, now back to my question.
Okay.
Names of trees.
Maple.
Okay.
Sweet gum.
Sweet gum. Oh, yeah.
Pine.
Pine.
Dogwood.
Dogwood. Ooh, yeah.
How many you want?
One more.
Oak.
Oak. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look over here and see if you can find any of the letters. We're going to look together. I'm going to start it, and I'm going to pick the longest one. I'm going to go with sweet gum, and we're going to pretend like it's one word. So I'm going to start looking. Okay. I've got S, W.
I see an E. Two E's.
What color?
Blue E.
Bluey. That it?
Yes.
Okay.
And a yellow E.
Yellow E. Ah, that one?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. Oops, there we go. Can you see sweet?
I see a T, a red T.
A T, red T. Okay, here or here?
Yeah, there.
There. All right. Now I need a G.
Oh, there's G, the orange.
Orange G?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, then next. Sweet gum.
There's a red U.
Red U. Here?
Yes.
Okay.
And a red M.
Red M. Ah, right there. All right. Now, Would you rather do, let's see, maple, or let's see what other one we could do. Maple or pine?
Pine.
Pine. Okay. Do you want the E on pine to be here or here?
On the yellow.
On the yellow. So we're looking for
P.
P. Oh, I have one up here. There's a P. Now I need what? Oh, I'm going to have to look up here in my pile.
Yeah.
I have a P-I. You see any N's down here?
No.
Okay, I'm going to have to go get some more letters for us. Good thing I have some.
Right?
Yeah, so all those letters, let me see if you see any now. Got any N's now or not yet?
Yeah, down at the bottom there's a yellow.
A yellow one?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. All right, pine. So what you're witnessing is Corey and I working together. And by having her say words like orange, I see an N down there, what she's actually doing is exercising her eyes, exercising her brain, exercising language. I am following through. I could do this on my own. The goal is for us to do it together. And so with this technology, I could send Corey a set of the letters in the different colors, and she could spend time cutting them out with the right support. And then we could play with her doing the letters and me doing the cueing. But that would mean 2 setups on her end. So this is where, as we're starting to explore this, over the next few weeks, you're going to see Pat getting more active at how to work with each other at a distance until we can be together, because until there is a cure, there is still a need for, care. You guys know how we work. So anyway, give it a try. Let us know what you find out. You can try it in your house. You don't actually have to play at a distance, but it takes what is and turns it into something else. And I picked trees, a theme, so that it would give us a direction of travel rather than what do you want to play about. But what you could do is pick colors and say, okay, so what we're going to do is identify 6 colors. That's if you just have white paper. If you have colored paper, you make it really, really challenging, because when I say pink or red, you're going to want to use red. That's what your brain thinks. And so playing that game is an advanced level. Anyway, I hope you have a good day today. I kept you longer than I should have, more than 10, but hopefully you had a little fun, got a chance to use your brain. You may be seeing letters and words. And now what we could do is say, hey, Corey, these are the letters we have left. Do you see any trees? Tell you what, you keep looking. Come tomorrow, we'll find out what you figured out. All right, everybody, take care. Have a good day. And remember, until there is a cure, take care, and take care when you give care.
Hey folks, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to help us spread Teepa's positive approach message around the world. And don't forget to click the bell to get notified when new videos are posted.